Come on, come on, come on. I know you're sleeping now. You gotta wake up some more, yeah? Okay, let's go.
4 something 11. But it's okay, Musa. I mean, you can miss the math, but you know you will not miss your money because you're one of Liberia wealthy person. So let's get to the question about this thing. Let's get to this thing. My question, I'm kind of confused, Chairman, and a lot of people confused. Is there still a Liberty Party to reckon with?
Damn, man, come on. You know I'm not going to answer that question. That question is provocative and unacceptable.
No, it's not. Because it's not,
Then
Musa.
you cannot ask me that question because you know that there's a Liberty Party, and you cannot ask me whether there is still a Liberty
I will ask you the question because a lot of people are concerned.
If there was no Liberty Party, I would not be sitting down here. And you know that.
That's what people are trying to figure out. Why are you and the political leader and you discredit him? You accuse him. What do you think the CDC going to do? 2023, they're going to play the tape. And Kev, you know that. When the CDC say, you know what? When Democratic Party say play the tape, when Republicans say play the tape, you know exactly where is this going. Today would be a day to remember when it comes to Liberty Party. Maybe some of you guys are afraid, but at least I would say,
yeah. You know, I always hate Musa Bility and Harder, you know, but sometime in life you listen to some things and then you question and certain things, and you want to go there and what Musa Bility was saying, you know, we try to stop him. But I think he's right. You calling a man, you know, Musa Bility said things I should give my children. I should give to my children. I put it on Liberty Party. And Delon is calling him a BM, calling him a crook, you know, accusing him of taking the party towards the ruling party. He's an undercover, naming names, somebody that spent his money on this party. I think what Dylan said today on Mr. Bility, if I was part of the Liberty Party, I'll be pouncing the table of calling an emergency meeting and see what Dylan is up to. But what we understand is that he declared support for Umeboka, but he also said Bility is leaning Cummings. So my question to you, Mr. Bility, is because of certain affiliation with Cummings that they think this is why drawing this, because we understanding that Dylan Oyomli Kanga is fighting for the VP-ship under Umeboka. So it's because of this they are pushing you away and say, you know what, let's burn the house right now. Is the house burning because of some affiliation with Cummings?
Look, like Kev, I mean, you're right. It's sometimes difficult for you and I to agree. But unfortunately, I mean, the truth of the matter is that this is Dylan, and this is why they're doing it. For me, I've always said, I said to CEO, I said to many of you on this show, how I feel, but I've said what the party decides is important to me. And how I feel, I will use it if I will go and talk to people to make them feel the same way I feel. You see the CPP, Darius Dylan has only benefited from the CPP. But he has never given anything. He's only a advisory council representing the Liberty Party. He has never attended one meeting. One meeting he has never attended. I hear people talking about Musa Bility is planted. Again, I'm happy we are on Sport TV, the largest network. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Without Musa Bility, there would never have been a CPP agreement. I say this, the political leaders, all four of them were in a deadlock for 4 months. I came in the final meeting with all four of them present. and made a proposal that brought about an agreement between them. And I challenge any political leader to refute this fact on this platform. There was a question of VPS, where ALP said that they will not accept VPS, and ANC said that they will accept VPS. Locked into that argument for 4 months. When I came, I told Mr. Comey and Mr. Yue, why we can meet everybody halfway. Immediately ALP accepted, and ANC said, hey, I gotta go to my executive committee, and y'all give me 1 week. And they come. After 1 week, they came back and said, we accept the proposal Mr. Bility made, we move forward. Now it was. Guess the second thing, in the face of our coronavirus, when nobody could have met, there were curfew. I organized CPP meetings on Zoom, paid for by myself, and got everyone on Zoom until we came up with an agreement. I dare anyone in CPP to refute this part. That's the man who wants to destroy CPP. The people going around here and just talking all these things about being planted. You know, people can be planted in so many ways. People can be planted by doing the kind of things that Dillon is doing. Hello, if United Party wanted a vote from Liberty Party, they just lost one in Darius Dillon because he's not going to be on the table when we are deciding. He's compromised. You know, at the end of the day, this institution will make a decision. Whether it is me or it's what I want, it doesn't matter. But for Darius Dillon to look at me and call me criminal, a man, and I said that Benjamin Sambi is the witness, I housed this man for 2 years, paid for his rent for 2 years. The very car Darius Dillon was using before he became senator, I bought it for him. The campaign is on record. His 2019 campaign, I asked him, how much you have? He said, I only have $100 for my campaign. I gave this man 20,000 United States dollars. He goes around, if it's not for me, he would never have to.
Let me come.
We got to get
it. But guess what? I'm not hurt. I feel relieved. I'm okay. Everything I did for Darius Dillon, I did it for 2 reasons. 1, I did it for my party. 2, I did it for my country. And I'm consoled by the fact that I work for every dime that I make. I work hard for it. I work every day and every night. I pay children's school fee. I do everything. He comes on TV and call me a black money man and call me a criminal. Me, I will take that in stride. I will not allow Dillon to define me. I will allow him to define himself.
Let me jump in. I know you are hurt. And again, we are not coming from a different angle over here. You said something that you had never said before. I've never heard, to be exact. What you do for others is hard for you to say it, Chairman Bility. But we're hearing from you and we see your body language. For you to say you give Senator Dillon 20,000 United States dollars, I know it comes from somewhere. And Liberians listen to you. We are almost 3,000 just on Spoon. Not the fabric, not the super, not the YouTube, not all of our social outlets. Liberians in Liberia listen to you and they know that you're hurt. I will give you the time to compose yourself because this tool is Liberia, but we got to move forward. International call. I will take this first call, Diamond, please. Good evening. You are live on Spoon Talk. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Good evening. Let me say good evening to your panelists. This is Daniel Sando, and I'm following the conversation from Rovia. I listened to the redundant argument from Mr. Isaac Jackson, and I think it's very comical. I do not think that the conversation here tonight is for Mr. Dillon, but being the person he is, he would rather be used for an entertainment purpose. I just want to indicate, as an executive of the Liberty Party, that the chairman of the Liberty Party is not being truthful to himself. You cannot go to the executive committee of the party and begin to insinuate, make positions known that you are supportive of Mr. Cummings, and then when you come to the public, you say you don't have a side. I think it is wrong. As a leader, you have to own up to the decision that you take. What Mr. Bility doesn't know is that the people who defended him, when the entire country descended against him, including the Accusations with whom they are entering into an holy matrimonial affair today. I see the two of them on your platform, and their views are very mutually enforcing, right? When Accusations mounted the podium to bring insult on him, it was a very DeLong, Daniel Sando, and everybody in the Liberty Party that came to his defense. What he hasn't realized is that to become a chairman of the Liberty Party, there are too many persons who look up to you. And to become chairman is not for yourself. The reason why he find himself in a kind of problem today is because he had a motive. I'm not too sure that he's been very frank with the conversation you people are having here. He should have told you that he had divided the Liberty Party because he's a Cummings operative. He said that he go to the executive committee, Mr. Cummings will give him $5 million, he's going to empower members of the executive committee. He should have said all those things. That's why he has fallen in problem with the party. Okay? And when the political leader who people ask him, Mr. Chairman, the political leader has the power to provide political direction for the party, not knowing that he had already altered the constitution. Even the issue of the constitution when it came up, the political leader convened a meeting. He vehemently opposed any internal investigation. Today, I'm shocked to hear that he's encouraging internal investigation. The issue should be resolved internally. I think the party, as Chairman Sembi said, the party is bigger than anybody's individual interest. But to be frank to the Liberian people, Liberty Party is why it is today. We are a laughing stock in the public because Mr. Bility is chairman and because he's been very self-serving. Every decision he made is about what he's going to benefit in the end. And I don't think that's why his chairmanship was about.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Daniel Sando, Liberty Party. We're going to pause and allow Musa to jump in. I gave another 30 seconds to answer. Musa, you go first. You want to respond?
I have nothing to say about that, man.
He accused you of $5 million.
No, hold on a minute, guys. Let's hear from Musa. Musa, can you respond, please? What you said?
No.
Okay.
I cannot go into
that. Okay. So answer Jackson.
I will
quick to apologize. And I'm not going to shy away from it. Genesis chapter 1, God created heaven and earth, and he looked down upon his creation and he said it was good. It pleased God. He looked at his creation, he said it was good. Genesis chapter 6, 5 chapters in between, God looked down on the earth and saw the wickedness of man. Genesis chapter 6, verse 6, it says God could regret it. Why he made man? God.
Genesis chapter 6, verse
Genesis chapter 6.
I'll go there.
Verse 6, please go there.
Let's go, be talking.
God Almighty, who knows everything in the future, created the heaven and earth and all that is in it. And he looked on his creation, he said it was good. 5 chapters after Genesis chapter 1, Genesis chapter 6, verse 6. God looked down upon
Genesis chapter 6, verse 6.
Yeah.
And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart.
You see here? God, who is God, know everything, the future, everything, got control of everything, can regret why he made man.
You say that to me, what?
Today, I don't regret why I did not make any move to prevent Musa Bility from leading Liberty Party. I thought it was unfair to Musa and anybody in
Elections Commission to represent Liberty Party constitution was never initiated by Yombi. What was initiated by Yombi was a draft that came out of Grand Bassa County. And until people get the differences and the truth and the actuality of what happened, there's a tendency for others for them to be confused, or the people who intended to confuse them to get their way across. So the draft was initiated by Normally, and the head of the Constitution Review Committee, Councillor Hayton Pope. Those were the two signatories that initiated the draft. The constitution that is our elections commission purporting to be
utter dishonesty to blame people who he encouraged to support CDC. And come and say, you are supporting CDC. Yeah. So Mr. Bility is a dishonest man. This man is genetically incapable of talking true. He lied about everything brazenly. He lied brazenly about everything. So that's the first thing you gotta look at that thing. Mr. Bility, it was not the people alone that supported Joe. You campaign, you endorsed Mr. Joria for the second round against Councillor Blonsky Eba. So why are you blaming our people for supporting Joria? That's wrong. So the first dishonesty there, we got to pick that dishonesty apart. The second thing is, Mr. Bility, try to be dishonest even with the truth. To say that, Mr. Joria, was supporting the Lone Star and you're endorsing. The facts are similar. The analogy cannot be the same. All right? Mr. Bility is being accused of supporting a quote unquote he being criticized in the public, for quote unquote buying car for Liberty Party because he is
My friend and brother, how you doing?
I'm doing great, and I appreciate God for allowing me to be here.
Yeah, we are here again tonight. We are here with the vast topic tonight. So I just wanted for you to make your introductory statement, and then from there, then we go into the.
All right, first and foremost, like I said, I'm grateful to be here and to make my contribution to any way humanly possible to make Mama Liberia a better place for all of us. But first and foremost is the country is still growing, and likewise the population of the country is still growing. Our mindset as Liberians, probably our intellectual capability, intellect, integrity, honesty, and sincerity is on a question mark. What do I have to say that? Everybody we just listen to just don't make no sense to me. There are so many Liberians that say things that they don't really mean to say or they don't mean to do. When they tell you A, probably it is possible C. Because from all indications, Liberty Party, Unity Party, ALP, and ANC, they came together for a specific reason. And that reason, in their mind and based on the paperwork they put together, was to be able to beat George Weah CDC come 2023. However, from all indications, based on what we see play out there, coupled with lawsuits and counter lawsuits, the opposition leaders, I will say this, if it annoy you, I'm sorry about that, but this is a fact. The opposition leaders, they are just as the people in leadership. They do not have any practical vision, agenda, and plans for our country. And that is the reasons why we see what we're seeing. It is not about country. We went through this during Charles Taylor time. Or not even Charles Taylor. Let's go to Samuel Doe when they took over during the military regime. Suspended the constitution. They killed people on camera publicly for corruption. When they took over, they even did worse than those people that led the country for over 100 years according to our history. Okay? We went into war because of that behavior. Today, this government, they are doing the same thing. Opposition is doing similar thing. The only reasons why we have not been able to see their actual color in terms of corruption, it is because we have not given them the opportunity yet. But the fact that we are not even giving them the opportunity yet, they are already corrupt the way they are doing stuff. How can you have an idol that continue to insist on sharing paperwork with his colleagues? That all of them agree. How can you have an adult that goes to court and want to bribe the judge? This is somebody who want to be president for Liberia in terms of ABC Arizona B. Cummings. And he has people that he pay very well based on our Liberian standard that support him and trying to even discredit our court system on spoon talk. How can you say on spoon that this global view and watch by Liberians and non-Liberian, and you are a PhD, and you are saying that in fact the lawsuit by ALP and the government takeover is illegal? What is your reliance that the lawsuit is illegal? I never heard that from any elementary student in Liberia. However, it is happening today. Okay, how can you have somebody, an adult who went corporate in America, that refuses consistently to share framework document with his colleagues? That same adult is seen that cannot even share with the court. Today, yesterday, Liberian time, the judge said, in fact, the prosecution is right. You need to share that document with us because it is that paperwork that caused everything we're talking about. The judge gave Arizona B. Kumi yesterday 72 hours to produce it. If it doesn't produce it, what next? I don't know it. But just so people know, all over the world, based on my elementary understanding of the law, especially democratic countries, litigation is very expensive and time-consuming. If you go to court and you want it to be done overnight, you're on your own. The more you challenge the court, the more time you have to be in court. All right, on the issue of Liberty Party leader, Joseph Boakai and the ALP leader, they all did not and do not have today, up to today, based on my research and based on my observation and their behaviors, they all don't have any vision for our country. I can say that for free. That's why today, Musa Bility, Liberty Party, current chair, divided, the embattled chairman, Musa Bility, sued Dallas Dillon $1 million for defamation of character. According to media report on confirm, another lawsuit is coming up. Maybe from Yombly towards somebody, or maybe from Ure, or maybe from Cummings, or maybe from Joseph Walker. We don't know yet, but there are a lot of lawsuits coming up. Now the question is, all the yogo going on, a place to the advantage of the CDC-led George Weah. If our opposition are holding together and they are going helter scatter and suing each other and using invitees like children in elementary school, not even high school, how are they going to have a loyal opposition, a formidable candidate to be George Weah come 2023? How are they going to do that? That's the biggest question we need to ask ourselves. Now, we're going to have the scenario of Fafa penalty again in politics. From all indication besides 1997, based on our political history. 2005, nobody won the constitutional provision, which is 50% plus one vote. 2011, nobody won the constitutional provision, 50% plus one vote. 2017, the same thing. Now we go by to history repeating itself. Okay? Pay for play. Then we have to go to Senator Prince Johnson, Nema County. And when we go there, based on what we know, the ruling party got all the logistics, they got all the money, they can use it to pay Prince Johnson, and they will win election. So that is where we find ourselves. I'll be back to you.
All right. For me, I wanted to start by me first of all diving into Musa Hassan Bility lawsuit that he had against ADD is a their case. Why me to say that? Abraham Darius did not never, and that was the clip that I was just playing at the last minute time. ADD never termed Musa Bility as a criminal. He said that this man acted like. So when you say that this man is a criminal and this man acted like, they're two different things. The English words is tricky here. Plus that ADD, I listened to ADD vehemently. ADD said that it's just like you as a BM going to the bank. That's what ADD said. But ADD never referred to Musa Bility as a criminal. That's point number one. Point number two, the case that they have. First of all, let me play you the lawyer. Let me play my audience the lawyer interview.
Interest of Dr. Musa Hassan Bility. Today, the Consortium of Legal Practitioners Incorporated, the law firm that I head as CEO and senior legal consultant, filed an action of damages for wrong, for libel, and slander by attachment against the Montserrat County Senator, Senator Abraham Darius DeLong, claiming $1 million United States dollars in general damages for his wrongful action and defamation against Honorable and Dr. Musa Hassan Bility. As you all know, Dr. Bility is the chairman of Liberty Party, one of the most popular political parties in the Republic of Liberia. We have filed this action in his interest, on his behalf, on the following grounds. Sometime in December, from December 8 up to January, December 8, 2021 to January 2022, Senator Darius DeLong alleged and accused, defamed, tarnished, stigmatized, and degraded the reputation of Dr. Musa Hassan Bility, and said the following words, quotation: Musa is a criminal and fraudster. And I can prove it. That is what Senator Darius DeLong said against the good earned reputation of Dr. Musa Hassan Bility. He went further and said that Dr. Musa Hassan Bility is a criminal and that he altered criminally and confessed for his criminal action. By altering the CPPP document. As legal counsels to Dr. Musa Hassan Bility, honor our laws. He came to us and we said that you have an actionable case that you can sue before the court of law, and indeed he can be held accountable. Honor our laws. When a person makes a statement against your reputation and defames your reputation, stigmatizes your reputation, and that statement that he made is false and misleading, and he did it with actual malice, honor our laws. You have the right to take the person to court for judicial scrutiny, for him to be held accountable for his action. The action of Dr. Musa Hassan Bility to come to court is in line with law. The law says when we say slander, and I will explain what does it mean when we say slander, libel, and by attachment. When you make a statement against the reputation of a person and say that this person is a criminal, and that statement is in writing, it was transcribed in a print media or electronic media electronic media, and it went nationally or internationally, and it defames your reputation, it tarnishes your reputation, obviously it falls under the office of libel. That is written statement that is made by a person accusing another person that the person is a criminal or the person is this person, and to only intended to defame the reputation of the person, and that statement is untrue. That constitutes libel. Slander. When you orally make a statement in the media, on Facebook, social media, and what have you, that two or more persons hear the statement, and that statement is wrong, and it defames the reputation of the person, it embarrasses the person, it inconveniences the person, it causes emotional distress and mental anguish, then that is an intentional infliction of emotional distress. Under our law, when that statement is being made orally, it is what we call slander. So this is an action of damages for wrong, for libel and slander by attachment. Why we file by attachment? Attachment is when you sue the person, and not to allow them to be going all around free, you are asking the court that this man must pay and show a particular property, because the action that you have filed, you will win the case and there will be money compensation. He does not have the money, he goes to jail. If he has the money or he has a property, he must give that property as a collateral to the court to guarantee that even when judgment is being made against him, the court will be able to use that collateral as a particular indemnity to the action filed against him. If he is unable, he goes to jail. So the scenario is the law have been sued through an action of damages for wrong, by libel and slander, by attachment. If he is unable to show, as we speak, the sheriffs are on their way to have him arrested and brought under the jurisdiction of the court. This is a civil action, an action that somebody must be here personally accountable for your action. In this country and all over the world, no one makes an irresponsible statement that defames the reputation of another person and must go free. The law says, and even under the International Convention of Human and People's Rights, the UN Convention, it says that people are free to make statements, but when those statements are made, they must be accountable. And that is the theory and the doctrine under our laws. Even our Constitution, Article 17. You have the freedom of speech, but you must be accountable for any abuse thereof. Why do we intend to do this? Why do we want to do this? According to Dr. Bility. Dr. Bility have said to us, the reason that he wants this action to be filed and should be filed against Senator Darius DeLong is simply because Liberia must have a precedent. We need to make our young generation that are growing up, especially those that we lead as leaders, taking into consideration Senator Darius DeLong being a senator of Monserrado County, who was elected by the people of Monserrado County. Many young people listen to him, believe in him. Must be somebody that must carry the ethics and the ethica of the legislature, specifically the Senate, the House of Elders. So when he makes a statement that is premature, a statement that is irresponsible, a statement that goes against civilized norms of society, The law says he must be called to book and be asked to answer. And so that is the reason we have filed this action on behalf of Dr. Musa Hassan Bility. The action is action of damages for wrong, for libel, and slander by attachment. That is the action that has been filed against Senator Abraham Darros DeLong. Thank you very much.
So, ladies and gentlemen, any questions? Probably you want to ask the councillor before we take leave for him.
Yeah, my name is Woody. I'm from Front Page Africa. In most cases, lawmakers always use the reliance of the legislature to bypass court proceeding. Do you see the workable in the case of Darros DeLong?
Under the status quo, under the rule of law, there is no law that exonerates a senator or whoever who is a government official from going to court. There is no law. The only person in the Republic of Liberia that does not go to court is the president of the Republic of Liberia. Even the vice president of the Republic of Liberia can go to court. As you remember some time ago in the LMA case, you remember I filed an action against the vice president. She came to court through her lawyer. The only person who does not go to court is the president of the Republic of Liberia. That is enshrined in the Constitution of Liberia.
In your statement, you said one of the reason why you taking a lawsuit against Senator DeLong, quote unquote, that's a direct quote, that he accused Mr. Bility of authoring the CPP document. It is a CPP document or the LP document?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that question. I think it gave us the reverse to restate what we're saying. We filed the action on behalf of Dr. Bility.
You see, so as I was saying, you see, this whole ball game, it cannot hold. It can never hold against ADD. And yesterday, ADD said he will submit himself to the law because he believes that no one is above the law. So because of that, he will surely go to the law. He will go to court. But the thing here is that this is a clear manifestation of Musa Bility trying to accomplish something that is much bigger than him. Back to you.
Let me tell you something. Under Article 61 and 62 talks about presidential immunity when they are president. Under Article 42, there's a different conversation there. I think it needs interpretation. I got the Constitution right here. There is something about arrest, but there is no immunity for representatives and senators. I listened to the council. I think he's right about that, but I don't think that's the question the generally asked. The journalists were asking about the tactics about this privilege. It's not an immunity, it's a privilege. So under Article 42, they said, no member of the Senate or House of Representatives shall be arrested, detained, prosecuted, or tried as a result of opinions expressed or vote cast in the exercise of the functions of his office. Vote or opinions in the exercise and functions of his office. Members shall be privileged from arrest while attending, going to, or returning from sessions of the legislature, except for treason, felony, or breach of the peace. All official acts done or performed and all statements made in the chambers of the legislature shall be privileged, and no legislator shall be held accountable or punishable therefore. That law needs to be interpreted, but there is a precedent. Precedent was set on the impeachment of Cabinet Janet. And you know, in democratic countries, I don't want you to ask me, the reason I always mention democratic countries on this platform, because there are different kinds of government. So democratic countries subscribe the constitutionality of given environment, like the United States, like the United Kingdom, and most European countries. If you go to Russia, it's a different story. If you go to Morocco, it's different. Go to Saudi Arabia, it's a little different. So that same law apply to the judges, subordinate judges, and the Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia. All of them are, have a privilege for them not to be arrested for their stance or their opinions in chamber. But DeLong said today on Spoon Talk, he called in that he's not going to use that immunity. It's not an immunity, it's a privilege anyway, excuse me. It's a privilege. But it could be challenged. Under our system, we got three major laws. We got the Constitution, this book, and we got the statute. What is statute? The other laws that legislature come up with, the bicameral system, the Senate and the House of Representatives. When the president signs on to that, it's a law too. It's in addition to the Constitution. Then we got case law. Case law is the Supreme Court opinion. The Supreme Court opinion is also addition to this Constitution. Because our Constitution says the Supreme Court is our final arbiter of justice. So when the Supreme Court opinion comes in, it automatically becomes a law. It doesn't require any president acting upon it. Just like the United States, we got a constitution here, but they got 27 amendments. If I'm part of the United States Constitution. So what I'm trying to say here is the whole arrangements of the opposition has now come to a mere gossip, individual, personal bickering, and it has gone so bitter to a point where they are suing each other now because of grudge. Musa Bility is only suing Dallas DeLong because DeLong, Nyombly, and ALP chairman, Urek, they support Joseph Walker. So because they support Joseph Walker, and eventually if this thing color with Cummings, this lawsuit color with Cummings, Joseph Walker will be lucky. That is what running through their minds. So since DeLong is a heavy political weight for Masurado County, I will also come in with a lawsuit against DeLong so he can be busy going to court instead of going to campaign for Joseph Walker. If DeLong is joining Nyombly to sue Musa, let me sue DeLong first and get him like embarrassed and busy before he and Nyombly can start thinking about suing me. How can we have government in waiting, people that we refer to as government in waiting?
I'm telling you.
And they are going the way they are going.
Oh. Grief for
This is a perfect gameplay by the CDC-led government. We got national issues that they in the opposition should be discussing.
Oh.
They should be engaging the Liberian people consistently day in, day out about the flaws that have been exhibited by the CDC-led government and offering them the alternative, what they will do when they are given the authority. But the Liberian people are not even giving the opposition the authority to study the affairs of our state.
Oh.
And their own arrangement is already in chaos. So the baby not born you, but the baby already causing trouble. They say the fish, you join in the water here, or in the river, it already turned to alligator. So are we going to allow you get into the water? Then the Liberian people say, you know what? It's better for us to stay with the devil to keep killing, or we'll go to a crusade and die free. And the president go to our national legislature and lecture them with lies. We live with that. But the other people, the angel that we didn't see before, the way they're operating, they're even more than the devil we already got.
Oh.
They're more than the devil. For this thing to keep This thing was super easy. We were already on the path of getting George Weah out of power. And we are going the way we're going. And these people consider themselves to be president in waiting, in confusion. Simple paper. You say you did everything right. You did everything correct. You did everything legally. But you can't even give it to the court. You say you made no change. You did everything as required. If you do not have it, how can you send it to election commission? And another thing other people now understanding with the whole litigation process, they feel that, let me tell you something. Political environment has legal environment. Musa Bility suing Darren Duran is because of political reasoning. It's not about legal issue. AARP suing ANC standard bearer Alexander B. Kumi is because of political manipulation. That he and his party perceive Kumis and others carry on that have gotten to where we are at the level of the CPP. Even though Ure had already left, according to public records, but Ure is arguing his party sustained injury as a result of Kumi's behavior. So that's why he sued on two fronts: conspiracy, political conspiracy, and forgery. So even if Ure will be not Ure, even if Kumis will pass political conspiracy because it's by intention, he will not pass the forgery. Because why? The people are saying the people that signed on May 19, there was a signature page. When the lawyer reviewed the documents, they all agree in their meetings. They had a chat room that they put information in there that it was to be taken to all of them to review and sign for the second time, or to agree for the initial signature page to be attached to that document. In fact, legally, it's not supposed to be so, because that other document was a different document that brought the outcry of the Liberian people on the issue of power sharing or jobs. Now that the lawyer reviewed the document, he should have brought it back to them according to their own conversation. They review and finally do the final signing. That paperwork was submitted to Election Commission. And Cummings is saying everything was good. If everything was good, bring it forward. Now, Nyobli is no longer requesting the document. Ure is not requesting the document. Joseph Waka is not requesting that document any longer. The prosecution, government of Liberia have requested it. Your lawyer argue it. The judge say it is a prima facie evidence that we need. And you need to bring it in within 72 hours. By law. So what is the next argument? That's a bigger question. But the whole thing, AB, the way I see the whole rigmarole with the CPP, with opposition political party leaders, it's a charade.
It's a charade.
It's a charade. We are giving more opportunity to George Weah to use the proposed budget that will soon be passed to buy more vehicles and to openly give money to people in preparation for 2023. Because why? Even what Judge Weah did before yesterday,
by putting his name,
those motor vehicles that he put his name on, donated by Judge Weah, not by government of Liberia, with taxpayer money, that should be the discussion point today by opposition, taking it to their people. You see what the government is doing. We got the mental state, they put it under the carpet. We don't know the next time we hear about it, it's gone. Opposition is not talking about that. They are not even discussing the annual message, the floor annual message that Judge Weah delivered on Monday. They're not discussing it. They are suing each other. They are gossiping. How can we should entrust you with our stewardship? With our national stewardship. How can we should entrust you with it? when you are not even governing yourself well
Oh, okay. All right.
in
It's
the
okay.
absence of political leadership. It is embarrassing.
For me, I just thinking what the military are doing. What that is my only questions. What the military are doing. Are they going to be laying down a sleeping dog until this man can be able to derail our country, until this man can be able to make everybody in the country turn to a mere baker? Is the military going to sit down and watch that happening? What is it? Where is the essence of being a military personnel in a country? For you to be able to keenly monitor the inner working of the people. But I am seeing this military to be like a sleeping giant. I am seeing the legislature to be a sleeping giant. The House of Representatives, they are more sleeping than ever before. So I am confused. Let's take our first caller. Caller, what is your name and where are you calling out from?
Musa Kamara, how are you, my brother? Hey, how are you?
I'm doing quite okay. What is the name and where are you calling out from?
Oh, this is Dave calling you from Massachusetts.
Very go ahead.
You know, brother, I want to thank you, God, for the show. You know, it be Liberian people not ready yet, my brother.
I'm telling you.
We are not a serious-minded country.
My brother, you can say that one more time.
Was countries, the nonsense that have been taking place in that country will never, ever. First of all, I will start with this. Let me start with the whole Musa Bility nonsense. You know, Musa Bility is just playing a complete distraction. Because he know that the ball is no longer in that court, and they have messed up. There's no way that they will win that case. He's just trying to create another avenue for people to pay attention on it, to say in suing the law. What are you suing the law for? Everything that they don't say is true. So after he finishes suing the law, will he go sue FIFA? Will he sue FIFA? But you know that there's another nonsense. But my brother, if Liberians were ready, all these things are happening in our country, not going to happen. Look, my man, I always tell people, everything that President Weah is doing, it is planned and calculated.
Oh, yes.
I said this thing before on your show, AB. This man is not stupid. President Weah have tested the resilience of the Liberian people. He have tested the resilience of the politicians. He said, look, everything that happened in Liberia will only spend 2 to 3 days, the highest, and they're going to die down. Look at the disaster that took place. After that disaster, the men have already started campaign.
Yeah.
The men have already started campaign. And all our politicians are sitting now and put their hand between their legs, as Prophet King said, they're a piece shot in the pot. All right? Nobody's talking to this guy. This guy is doing anything he want to do. All right? Anything that this guy want to do, AB, he's at liberty. People are dying day and night. Look at the main state of the nation address. Look at the high-profile death that were in our country. You ever heard that man talking about son? Nothing. Look at the missing children. Not the 3 missing children that today. Nothing keep for order. Look at the kind of life, destitute life, my brother. Our people living. He never said nothing but it. But immediately after, my brother, you have the sorrow games to go on social media. They say Weah is the best president. And nobody can challenge this guy. Nobody can say anything, my brother. Look, AB, mark my word. If you and myself don't take time, this guy will play hard ball again, and he will win. I'm telling you, they will rig the election, and the politician will say, "Yeah, who will go?" It's happening. This man have started running campaign again. He have started. The Liberian people money that he using the backers.
Okay. Thank
Nobody
you.
will talk. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you. Let's take another caller. Caller, what is the name and where are you calling her from?
Hey, what's up, Mazi? This is Cyrus calling from Minneapolis.
Cyrus, go ahead.
You know, your co-host just said everything that I wanted to say. I just wanted to just recap on one couple of points. You see, the opposition, they ain't ready for business, and there's a high probability that Georgia is going to win re-election. The whole Cummings saga, the whole Henry Costa and Benina, you were making us some stupid argument that somebody maliciously and criminally changed a document. It was just meant to derail the momentum of the CPP. You saw what happened in the gun NFL House election. You saw the momentum that came from the midterm election, from the senatorial election. The CPP never even finished second in 4 different regions of the country. In Bomi County, in Grangita, I think it was in Nimba and somewhere else. The last election in the House, this full special election. It just tells you that 2023, our people will be so confused. Georgia, let me tell you something about Georgia. Georgia may not be smart academically, but Georgia is a street man. He understands criminality. He knows how to play his cards well. He knows that. Look, if Georgia wasn't going to be a soccer player, Georgia was going to be a being. Georgia know how to use people. He know how to play his cards right. And that's what he understands. You are dealing with a criminal cartel here. Look, do you know how many cases are on the docket at the Supreme Court or in any court in Liberia? Do you think those guys are interested in it? No. But the CPP getting a gift with a whole fingerprint document. It's almost like one of my friends called Wakado. I didn't even know Wakado. He said it today. I'm like, a policeman accused me of a violation for running the traffic light, and you took me to court. You took me to court. I said I'm going to defend myself that I never ran the traffic light. We got to the court. Then the policeman is saying, I cannot give evidence, but I who ran the traffic light should bring video to prove that I ran the traffic light. What logic does that make? It's just a side show. It's a distraction. A dirty politics that make no freaking sense. That only plays to Georgia advantage.
So you are saying that the lawsuit that Benayure level against Mr. Cummings by forgery, it does not make sense to you?
How does it make sense? If they tell you that the original document is with Cummings, so which document Benayure used to compare to make the discovery?
Because Benayure, somebody from the National Election Commission pinched Benayure. He have people working in those systems.
Okay, let me ask you a simple question. Mazi, we got to be logical here.
Yeah, but we are logical.
The government control the NEC. The government is the one that's in power. We know they can break any law that they want to break. If you are telling me that Cummings submitted a document to the NEC and the NEC pinched Benayure,
that's not what I'm saying. But that's what Mr. Ure is saying.
That's the logic I'm trying to make here.
Okay.
Somebody within the election commission pinched Benayure saying that the document was altered without reading the original copy. Since they already know, why not give the court the document if you want to implicate Cummings and the government is interested in this case? Why not just use the document at the NEC?
But because Mr. Cummings never distributed the document that he was to distribute among the 3 political leaders.
Well, even the argument was he made 5 copies to give it to the political leader, but then he submitted the one at the NEC.
Yeah,
so
but the Paran 4 copy was never distributed to the political leader up to 100%.
Mazi, let's just be logical here. Let's assume that the copy was never distributed. So we document that the whistleblower at the NEC whispered to Benayure. Let him just bring it.
No, it will be.
Excuse me, AB, can I help our caller, please? Let me help our caller. Just tell him to mute and listen to Facebook. Let me help him out.
Okay. Just mute yourself and listen to Facebook and listen to my co-host. He is about to ask you. Just mute yourself right now and listen to Facebook.
My brother, litigation is expensive and time-consuming. You almost won the conversation, but you're missing it right now. The government under George Weah prosecuted Kabila Janneh against the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. Under the watch of George Weah appointed Chief Justice and brought the senator, the House of Elders, to convict Kabina Janet. Our constitution says the impeachment procedure must be put together by members of the House of Representatives. And before that impeachment bill is put together, everything, there is a constitutional requirement that calls for due process. That was not accorded by the members of the House of Representatives because the House of Representatives is a George Weah CDC chairing squad. Now let's come to the issue of Cummings and the government and Uri. Serena Sifa is a political prosecutor, political partisan prosecutor. Remember now, Serena Sifa, the current Solicitor General of the government, was in the opposition and supported the CDC during the runoff. He's the one presiding over the case. And whether we have problem with him, we don't have problem with him, I personally admire Serena Sifa because he knows the law. Okay? So there is no violation of our judicial system where the chief prosecutor asking the defense counsel to make the document available through the court. What that does for them, it gave the government more opportunity to delay the campaign process of Alexander B. Cummings. But that's not what they're going to tell the judge because that is not the purpose of the litigation. The purpose of the litigation is by law, the government, any criminal crime or all crimes are committed against the state under our system, especially criminal litigation. So Berina Ure sued the government and took over the case because it's a criminal case. Now this is opposition and government fighting. You think the opposition man who claims himself to be Mr. Clean is going to win the case on silver platter? No. His lawyers got a job. Even the lawyers will not tell him, let go this way, let it go. Let agree to certain plea bargaining that we do in America. No, they're not going to do that. Because if the case is over, their dollars is also over. It's also over. So we need to understand it. This is a government case. Even the government did not take Alexander Cummings to court because our law say if somebody got a criminal issue, they did not involve the police, they went to court, the government come and take over. You as a private citizen, you sit in the back. But again, you have to go back to the clip. Henry Costa interviewed Berina Ure. And Berina Ure told us in the war why necessitated his lawsuit. He and Kumi have been having a good time in terms of having political conversation to move the CPP forward. Everything failed. And what got to him most, he was the organizing committee chair of the CPP. The document that he have, original draft, even before they signed on May 19, is different from the document that Kumi submitted to Election Commission. And for fact, based on what Ure told us, Ure said he called Election Commission and they issued a copy. He didn't stop there. He called Liberty Party, deputy chairperson of the Liberty Party. They also issued a copy. And he compared it with what they got for May 13th and Addison. Now, the court will not ask Ure to bring paper because this is a government story. Only the government through Serena Sifa will ask Cummings to bring the paper through the court. And the court is going by law. Yesterday, Liberian time, the court said the prosecution is right to request that paperwork because that framework document is a prima facie evidence based on the interest of the complainant, which is the plaintiff. The plaintiff now is the state in this case. The plaintiff is Republic of Liberia. The state witness is Berina Ure and others in this case. So now, when the case go to trial, ALP, represented by Bernard Ure, and the party chairman, going to be there as a state witness in this case. So Arizona B. Kumi and others going to be identified as criminal defendants. That's the law. I'm not a lawyer, but that's what I know, and that is our system.
Thank you. So back to you. You have 2 more minutes to just make it.
The brother said he explained all the long stuff just for us to come to the same conclusion. We are dealing with a criminal cartel here that don't operate as a government. The only reason they take on the case because they think it plays to their political advantage. I just surprised to see a man within the CPP. Don't forget, the argument was not about any changes being made to the CPP framework. You remember when they wrote the original framework, they hired lawyers to come and make an amendment because there were certain things that wasn't right. There were certain provisions in the framework that needed to be changed. So the argument was, it was not about making amendment or changes to the framework document. It was about doing it with criminal intent. Now, if you want to be logical, you ask yourself, what other advantage it gave to Alexander Cummings, or political advantage, that he would go and fundamentally or alter and criminally change the framework document? We all know that it was not criminally done. But like I said, it's the politics of it.
I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know that. Don't say we all know.
That's what I'm saying. It's the politics of it. Because Benenda Ure, it seems to be like he the one here playing the two-house game. If we are in the CPP or collaborating parties, if you say you are in the interest of the Liberian people against this criminal cartel that is in power, tell me, what are the political incentives to be doing all this infight? And you know, Cummings never changed a document with criminal intent. Like he showed that provision.
No. Mr. Ure said that there was a portion of that provision that was changed that said that every political party shall remain into the agreement. Whether you like it or not.
And then what was changed about that provision, the exit clause? I know that what you're talking about.
That the exit clause was changed.
But here is the thing. Here is the logic about the exit clause. It tells you who are more committed to the formation of the CPP.
But
the exit clause was, there are 4 collaborating parties: Unity Party, ANC, Liberty Party, and the ALP. If we are going to build a brand we call CPP, why would you want to live in the CPP and go again and run as another ALP when ALP is already part of the CPP?
Thank you.
Thanks for it.
God, what is her name and where are you calling her from?
Good evening. My name is Mohammed Masaleh, and I call from my resident this evening. Good evening, senior brother, Mr. Duno.
Thank you. How you doing, my brother?
Yeah. Where you calling her from? You say you calling from your resident, and you never tell us where your resident is.
I'm calling from Minnesota.
Go ahead.
Okay. I think I will differ a little bit with the argument that the senior brother made concerning the issues of Benenda Ure and what led to the court system and what make the CPP to be dragging in court today. Maybe let us be clear to each other here.
Yeah, we're clear.
Okay. The issue of Benenda Ure, I think it was not timing to carry Cummings to court.
Who determined whether it was not timing or it was timing? It is the man who have his case, the man who have been violated. Is that man who determined?
The man who sustained injury.
So then you should agree that Musa Bility has right to go to court too.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that Musa Bility does not have right. That's not what I'm saying. I said that case will be thrown out because that's the identical statement. That was not a statement of ADD. That's what I said. Somebody saying that, okay, you are a criminal and you acting like. You are a criminal and you acting like a criminal. That is 2 different statements.
So the argument here is the argument should be the prosecutor, then Mr. Do not help us now. The prosecutor has all of the power the burden lies on his or her shoulder to prove their case beyond reasonable doubt. Correct?
Yes.
Now, if the prosecutor go to court and tell the defendant to provide documentation in question, on a question, that this documentation that was tampered with, you should provide it. You should be in a position to provide all of your documentation, and that comparison should be.
But you don't know
you
don't know what the Serena for having the document that was sent previously to Benayo. You don't know that. We don't know that. But they are trying to test the water for them to be able to ask Mr. Kumi to produce. Then they will compare.
When I listen to Serena Sifa today, I don't think that was an argument. The argument of Serena Sifa was the judge asked Cummins and his lawyer to provide the original documentation.
Yes, that is the law.
Fine. No. The question here is,
AB, you want me to help Masari small?
The burden rests on the shoulder of the prosecutor to provide any other documentation that is under review. So if you can adjourn a case based on requesting for documentation for the defendant, I don't think that was right.
Okay.
And I will agree with the senior brother that the whole process is based on a delay tactic.
Okay.
And there were the CPP blown up. I do believe, if I listen to my senior brother very well, this process, the entire process should have been handled by the CPP through all of the political leader in a way that the government will have no power or no face to fry in the CPP process, in the CPP case, because now the government will hold that as a prima facie politically outside the jurisdiction of the law to delay, because they feel that the CPP, first of all, was a threat. And the senior brother said it right. Coming from the May 10th election, before the May 10th election, the CPP was strong for many foes. When Dara didn't want the election, the Liberian people was very clear, and they sent a message. And coming
to you, just coming to you.
There were the power struggle started coming.
Okay.
So if you follow the genesis of the entire proceeding, I do believe the ARP, first of all, they were in an error.
Okay.
In taking Cummins to court.
Okay.
Now, the issue of Musa Bility, let me learn quickly, give me a minute.
Okay.
Musa Bility going to court, I agree. Politically, when you look at it from the political angle, it's the same thing like the senior brother said. It's true that the whole thing is that if you think you hit me on the other side, I'm going to hit you on the other side. The both of us will languish will be fighting in court. At the end of the day, the government will succeed. So the government, they're playing that card well. Georgia might not be educated to where, to the taste of the Liberian people, but he knows how to play his political card. And now, as if the city continue to go like this, after a few more months, trust me, Joshua might go for the second term.
Thank you.
I do believe going to court, that gave the court the opportunity. But for people to criticize Musa Bility for carrying Dillon to court, for me, I don't see any problem with that. The only problem I see was that the CPP missed their chances, and I don't believe they're going to bounce back again, like the way they were looking prior to the May 10th election.
Thank you
very much, and I just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you. Carter, what is the name and where are you calling out from?
My name is Edwin Clark, and I call from the state of Minnesota.
Edwin Clark, go ahead.
Let me say thank you, Brother AB. One of the long-time followers and fan of this platform. And let me say thank you for adding dignity to the program by bringing in Brother Francis. I love his analysis, always educative and teaching. But let me just go straight into the issues here. First of all, Maybe it is so sad. I don't even want to talk about the both lawsuit that is in the country right now because, like you guys saying, it's just a mere bluff. It's a charade, and it's just a waste of time, effort, and resources. Why our people lavish in abject poverty, things that are needed to be discussed are not being discussed. The life of the people.
Kora coming to you, just hold on, coming to you.
It punctures me this morning. I woke up this morning, bro. Maybe when I look on my Facebook page, I saw. Don't you know that the Zogos are written that on a letter of, I don't know how they call it, a letter to the government
Yeah,
saying that.
Issue ultimatum.
yeah. I saw that letter. I
Mhm.
saw that letter, but I was just waiting for the end of the show for us to
I
be able
mean,
to.
I mean, when I saw that letter, what came to my mind, I'm like, well, this is why once upon a time, my senior brother, Mamadi Dagate, said, may so rest in peace. Mamadi Dagate said it once upon a time. He said the greatest mistake that we Liberians will ever make or accident is to elect Georgia as president. Can you imagine? Country of like Liberia, group of drugs addicted youth who need help, who need care are coming out
They
to
are
send a
threatening
press
everybody.
release that they are warning state security and government and blah blah blah. It's just sad, man. It's sad. And to see people that we depending on to take state power after Georgia should leave. Look, Ibi, let me just say this before I leave. God will not forgive those of the so-called educated people that we got in the Liberian community, those of them that call themselves educated that city in America and Liberia. God will not forgive them if George Weah should be president for the second time. Because just imagine the first term of the CDC government. Look at what is happening. Look around us. What is happening in our country. Just
Okay.
imagine if the guy should be elected for another 6 years.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank,
sir. Thank you. Thank you
thank
for
you.
having me.
Now take another quarter right here. Quarter, what is the name? Quarter that quarter from um 5985. Go ahead. Quarter that quarter from 5985. Go ahead.
Hey, Abby, how you doing? And Princess, how you guys doing? Hope everybody doing good.
Doing okay.
Yeah. My name. Am I live? Are
Yeah,
you
you
getting me?
live.
Okay. My name is Oti Nibu Patma. I call you from the state of Indiana, Indianapolis, in the U.S. And I'm so sorry for joining your show a little bit late. But when it comes to the issue of Arizona Comey and the other Musa Bility and Senator Dillon, they sued or the indictment or the suit led by Mr. Bility on on the senator is just a comical issue that, trust me, AB, next month not going to end that case being in court. It's just another intention Musa Bede looking for. Here's a man who just went to Spoon FM region and said he was challenging the vice president, the former vice president, to appear to testify on Young Bay. It will be the end of their political life because he noticed that things is not falling in his interest with Kumi. So he tried to raise another attention to create some chaos or that would lead Kumi to be incinerated or, I mean, exonerated from the issue, the allegation raised against him by ALP political leader Mr. Ure. So he trying to bind sentiments to convince the minds of the Liberian people so they can be twisted from that actual issue and to dive into he and Senator Dillon issue. But with that being said, let me say this to you. Mr. Cummings' situation should have been settled long time. It should have been settled between he and his colleagues. That's why you see their constitution, the framework document, they don't say Secretary General or Chairman of the political party, whenever a party is senate to serve in a CPP as a head for 8 months. It didn't say the chairman of a political party should serve as a head. It said the political leader. So it has to do with the commemoration or all of the
Quarter, I coming to you, just hold on.
Okay.
did author. I mean, he did author the framework documents, but it was not a major harms. He didn't benefit from that. After a few minutes, he took down the post because it was something that some of the colleagues were used against him. After they were asking him to submit part of the document he submitted to NEC, they didn't receive that copy, and he refused to give it. So with that being said, Mr. Kumi said no. And one thing you should understand about the law in Liberia, I have my friend, she's Antonia Law. She works directly with the lady at the commercial code. What's her name? Say Eva Mape Mobe.
Okay.
She worked directly there. They did one story say Hoti into our law, into our study, because every one of them practicing the law. While you get a degree, they say they practicing the law, right? Unless you say has a judge, so she told me one thing. She said, whenever
we have to wrap it up because we
yeah,
have tons of quarter.
To conclude, I come in AB. I have to lay the facts. I don't have to jump. There are many people listening. They have to understand what some all about to say, bro.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
So to conclude, I try to make reference on that. Whenever you appear into the court, when they give you a privilege one or two times, it doesn't mean you should be all over masquerading saying you are leading the case or you're in the lead. No. The first issue, the first concern that was raised by the accusers when it was denied camera, and also it had to do with other stuff. Mr. Kumi are all jubilating around here. But yesterday, based upon Liberia time now, you could see a physical morphology tells you that he actually not in the lead. And people that around Mr. Kumi don't understand their case is a political case and also a legal case, right? The accuser, the people have all of the documents in their possession, the government and the accuser. But you know why? To prove the case, for the case not to escalate, the people got in their possession will not tell you this is the political point. The political point says they have it, but not tell you they have it. Even the Chuma Jala saw it. But he raised the issue, they say, you raised the issue, say, let him provide it. Providing a part of the document is submitted to NEC will authenticate that what they got, and this is what the verdict will be. That's what is the verdict. Mr. Kumi will be held guilty. And that's why you see the lawyer saying that they will see how best to extend the issue. They will go for subpoena based upon Article 41H. It's still erroneous. They think to have been settled a long time. But that's the issue, and our people need to educate on that. Need to educate on the issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Quarter from 7856. Go ahead.
Yeah, AB, you can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to ask you and your co-host Francis a question. This is River says, if the justice system is so corrupt as people, you guys in the opposition claim that our system is messed up, why is it that those guys cannot take each other to the international court? There's nothing wrong with you can sue, Dylan can sue Bility in the international court. The other guy, Yuri, can do the same. Why they keep going to our justice system when they see justice system you guys have deemed as being corrupt, as being unfair? The Bernie Samuka case, that is a kangaroo court. So why are those opposition guys, why they can't pay money to go to international court? Why they keep going to the same court that you guys say corrupt? That's my question. Okay. Number two, I want people to know that Musa Bility was, I see people on Facebook with the whole FIFA thing. The court was an arbitrary court. Now you got to know the difference between the arbitrary court and a regular court. The arbitrary court is the random choice. It's not based on any actual judgment for a judge, anything. So people calling him criminal, you have to know what an arbitrary court is. It's a difference with the regular court. So that's my question there to you and Francis, and that's my point. Thank you for having me, AB.
Thank you. Let's take another caller right here. Caller, what is your name and where are you calling from?
AB, excuse me, please, I beg you. Can you hold our caller a little bit? This
Mark
man gave
Williams,
us
I'm calling from
for her to answer. If we don't want to
Jersey.
forget.
Caller, you hold on. Go ahead, Francis.
Let her answer Riverside Pro. Riverside Pro, you ask a very sensitive questions, 2-3 questions. But I'm asking you another question too before I give you the answers that I got for you. Do you have bar bush for bar child? That's a regular Liberian parable. I know you're going to answer it later on, but let me give you the answer. There is no bar bush for bar child, okay? every child is just as regular as good child. Okay? Comparing that to a bad child. Our system in Liberia is rotten, but that doesn't mean we should throw it away, we shouldn't use it. Ellen told us say our educational system was messy, it was messed up. And corruption was a vampire and systematic. Liberia is corrupt. Government of Liberia yesterday and today, they are corrupt. Do we have a state? Yes, we have a state. Do we have a country? Yes, we have a country. Do we have a president? Yes, we have a president. The very massive educational system Ellen talked about, people are still going to early graduating and becoming leaders for our country. The very law school that Universal Liberia should refer to, there was a gangsters there. People that students should refer to them like that. Were the very people that work with her are the very people. Samuel graduated from Universal Liberia, the current finance minister. Family, the deputy minister of foreign affairs, graduated from Universal Liberia. So what you want to tell me? So we will have to use our core system. Even though it is corrupt, we will challenge it. Kabina Jane, our opinion as opposition people, as political analysts, it came clear and it is vivid. It was a political code that they use legal institution, the House of Representatives and the House of Elders, with cash inducement. They convicted Kabina Jane on. It was not on the basis of transparent system. Okay? Now let's come to the issue of the justice system being corrupt and all of that, our educational system all corrupt. Are we going to throw it away? We have to continue to use it. We have to continue to challenge it while we improve it.
Okay.
Now, the other issue about this thing here, there are two-party litigants in this case. The prosecution is a litigant to this party. The defense is a litigant. The court is neutral. So all that you're talking so, Berina Ure does not have control over the case any longer. The state, Republic of Liberia, now have control over this case. You don't need to give an arbitrary definition of anything. They got administrative system, they got the court system, and they got order. In America, we got social services, right? But the court is the highest when it comes to decision making, my brother. So we're not going to use the ECOWAS code. We're not going to use, because when it comes to court system, there are jurisdictions and procedure. You cannot leave your court system and run and go to ECOWAS. You have to absorb that first before you go to the next step. Thank you very much.
Connor, what is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Anthony Gay. I'm calling from the state of Pennsylvania, right in Philadelphia.
Yeah, go ahead.
Listen, everyone is giving their opinion and what they think of this case. But the court has the final verdict. We should allow this case to play out in the court. We can give our opinion and it does not matter. Here's what I have to say. Another people say, oh, you know, Mr. Comey was jubilating because they say, oh, no camera will be in the court. Our law prohibits cameras in court. Liberian law is against it, just like the Liberian law is against gay and lesbianism. Under our law, it's not legal for gay to be married in Liberia. It's the same thing that cameras are not allowed. Another thing, the judge ruled today in the circuit court. This is the first of its kind, a misdemeanor that is biggest government lawyer ever to take on a misdemeanor. This case, if Mr. Comey is guilty, he will not pay more than $1,500. That's a fine of this misdemeanor. For the state prosecutor, the highest defender of the country, to take on a petty case today, that tell you there is a political implication. Number two, it also says everyone is innocent until proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt. People now call him Mr. Comey's criminal. You are presumptive innocent until proven guilty.
But he is a criminal defendant.
You can choose to use that phrase, but you only call someone a criminal when they are convicted.
Yeah, but he is a criminal defendant, so that is a rare adjective for you to use.
My brother, it is your platform. You and I are not lawyers, and we're not going to go back and forth. I said we all giving our opinion. And then number three thing here is that the burden of proof is upon the accuser. Now, under no circumstances that the defendant can be asked to produce documentation in a criminal case. In a civil lawsuit, yes, the defendant is responsible to do so. But in a criminal lawsuit,
but what?
Go on Google right now and check it out, my brother. Go on Google.
No, I know.
Maybe we don't need to go to Google. When the judge rule, excuse me, caller, when the judge rule that camera is prohibited and the other people were jubilating, the judge had ruled again using the law that yes, you need to produce a document. Then we don't need to go to Google for that because Google is not going to make the judgment.
Another thing I have to say here is that you cannot give a document to incriminate yourself, right?
But this document not supposed to incriminate.
Hold on now. Hold on. Before you charge anyone with any crime, you must have something they call in law a probable cause. For instance, a police pull you over. Instead of the police, in order for the police to say step out of your car, let me handcuff you. That means you may not have insurance on that car and they're going to impound the car. A police officer show up to your apartment or your house and say, Mr. Camara or Mr. Host, I want to search your house. Will you allow that to happen? Absolutely not. You need a search warrant. So why should Mr. Comey produce a document when they accuse him? I mean, it's just common sense.
Okay. All right. Thank you. You know what, we're with our last batch, of course. You know, I don't know what let me look at the time. We are running out of time. You know, Francis, I don't understand this. The people, they were jubilating yesterday because they said that camera should not be used. We have another caller. Caller, what is your name and where are you calling from? Francis, I don't understand this.
Hey, Abraham, how are you? My name is Vamuya from Minnesota. How are you, Chief?
Yeah, Vamuya, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I missed Tunisia small. Okay. So you see, maybe Francis, how you doing? Okay, so you see Liberia, I think our Liberian people not ready, you know, they just keep, if you see our country going back every day, while all of people country developing, and we keep crying on God every day. We keep crying on God every day. God, why Liberia? God, why Liberia? The Liberians are not serious at all.
Yeah, well, no, we are not serious.
The Liberians are not serious. And why is the Liberia not going forward? So I don't have no damn leader over there. They're all the criminal. They call me or they whosoever. Everyone on the criminal. Everyone on the criminal. They just suffering the poor people in our country for nothing.
Yeah.
You understand? They put just suffering the. Now why you see someone? Oh, now if God not help us for all the travel, our people they suffer, and how we suffer, and we're not gonna get no better life. Now how they put just they just destroying the country resources. You understand? Mr. Comey have game. I mean, he become rich man. You got money. For you to go help the Liberian, then you hear destroying and trying to destroy the country. This man, people claiming he's a good man. Why would you allow somebody to use you to destroy all the people in a home? He did it to Liberty Party. You may go to Liberty Party with Musa Bility, the dancing. Okay. So for example, they being that man, they are the people, he the me man, he the founder of the CPP. They know, the document he wrote. And they share it all over with all the other, they share with a lawyer, they share with the election commission. All of them signature they in a particular page they're talking about. Why the Liberian people keep framing this thing here like Mr. Comey is right, Mr. Comey is right. Mr. Comey is set him up from the very beginning and say he made some changes in a particular document. And when that particular clip come out, it will still go against the man. And they better not man, according to, I used to love this particular man, they call me man. But this particular man here, he damn greedy. Why would you be greedy at and spoil yourself? First of all, how they call it, Benin he will walk to you and went to your house. I mean, I know how Benin they met, according to what Benin he said. He said, look, brother, forget about that thing. You don't face that thing here, and then let's go ahead with this thing here. You keep wanting to destroy all of people's party. And now today the thing turning against it and make the people angry. You can't do things like that.
Thank you.
The Liberians are suffering. They need good leader. If you sure you want to be a help to Liberia. You're not supposed to do that kind of thing here, and you align your handful of followers to fool you to keep going to court. They keep making you small. Look at the kind of question they asked him today when they told him, say, but your face not looking good today like the other day you were dancing. You got nothing to say. You can't be having money and you stopping yourself like this. You understand?
Okay.
You bring yourself down, coming.
Thank you.
Go to the people. You try to solve it here, and then you come back. You don't have. You cannot change the Liberian people to vote for you by force. First of all, I was expecting the man to go deputy to to second man to Bakai. Ali want the old man. Oh, you can be. You still got more time. You still got energy in yourself. Probably you will live longer to become the president for Liberia when the old man time finish. Maybe the old man could retire. But you keep acting greedy. The Liberian post office for leader, man. Go criminals just wasting on each other while they're trying to destroy our children and life, and they want to put the blame on Zoko. They want to put the blame on George. I don't let George, but this kind of thing are correct, man.
Thank you.
Let them get accept in that damn place and let God get a good leader, man. So criminals.
Thank you. Koro, what is your name and where are you calling on from?
My name is Paul Jabo, and I call you guys from Rhode Island.
For Jabo, go ahead.
Yeah, Ibi, thank you so much. Brother Francis, thank you for the analysis. You know, I didn't want to call, but I had to. Sometimes we need to understand the facts and remove sentiments and personal feelings from our analogy when we are making them. Now, Mr. Cummings, people arguing Mr. Cummings does not have the document. Why should he produce a document? What sense does that make? If people say that, then I ask myself, are these people really sound? Because if you, as a sitting chairman that are responsible for those documents and presentation of the final document to NEC, why wouldn't you have a copy? That's one. Two, Mr. Cummings, they say, why should he produce an evidence against himself? Look, today Donald Trump was subpoenaed to produce evidence. You know, our people, if they don't understand legal proceeding, it's better to do some research, school yourself to that. Every lawyer, today Cummings lawyer, if the case was in a reverse, they would be requesting Bernard Ure to produce the evidence. Because there's a reason why Cummings doesn't want to produce that evidence. One, if Cummings produced the evidence, they could use that evidence and cross-examine him. Even if he does not produce the evidence, if the court subpoena NEC, they could also use the evidence to cross-examine him. So in my opinion, Cummings is not doing justice to himself, and his legal team needs to rethink, needs to re-strategize, because at the end of the day, that document will be used to cross-examine Mr. Cummings. So they need to understand that from the perspective. And just let me close on this. You know, sometimes when I listen to Spoon, I regret and I wonder whether some of those guys on Spoon really do critical thinking in school. What do I mean? You see why? Because you are so sentimental. You favoring your political leader. I know everybody wants to support a political party, but the truth should be told. And then they would twat the facts and make it look like Cummings is a sin that came from heaven without any fault. How in the hell is sin will be in the midst of those sinners, eating, dining, whining with them, and still call them a sinner and call himself a saint?
Thank you.
Does it make any sense?
No, thank you. Kora from 6214. What is the name and where are you calling from?
Hello, my name is Roland T.Z. Tori. I call from Phoenix,
Hello,
Arizona.
this is Judicial here from Franklin.
Yes, I'm constrained to.
No.
Sorry.
No, Kora from 6697, you hold on. Kora from 6214, you go ahead.
Okay, thank you. How you doing, guys?
Yeah, we're doing good.
Okay, thank you for the show. Like I said, my name is Roland T.Z. Tori. I call from the Phoenix, Arizona. I'm kind of constrained to call from the quarter before the last quarter for Anthony Gay, to be specific. where he said that Mr. Comey cannot give a document to incriminate himself, he conscriminated the court. So is it now established that he has some criminal hidden agenda on the document that we talk about? Because if you say that he cannot give document to incriminate himself, that means he actually committed a crime and he doesn't want the people to see the document that he has so that they cannot bring it against him. So the rationality in the thing is that if Cummings knows that he's free of everything they are saying, it's just simple to present a document. The same court that you are jubilating from their ruling in your favor, using the same law that there should be no camera in the court. We all were jubilating all around. Oh, Mr. Cummings, the law is on my side. The law is on my side. He was dancing. Today, the court rule again, and they want to come out and say that the court is being political and all kind of things that they want to bring around. I think it's just a disservice. And those people who are even cheering Mr. Cummings, they are doing very wrong thing to him because the political career is going to end very soon.
Thank you.
This whole thing, when it started, it was just simple. Take charge, Mr. Cummings. It was just simple to do. Okay, guys, I take charge. Call your guys in hall. I mean, you just have a common discussion. Come back to your colleagues. Man, that's not me who authored the document, but I think someone misstep went along the way, but I'm sorry. You take it, you move on. Then we're done with the thing. But see, when we drag it to that he's taking appeal to Supreme Court, he's just wasting your own time. Because if you want to be very quick on the case you're talking about, you should have provided evidence ever since and be done. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you. Quarter, what is your name and where are you calling on from? Quarter from 6697. You are our last caller. What is your name and where are you calling on from?
Yeah, my name is Judicial. I'm calling from Virginia.
Judicial, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question because my question is that people are saying that why would the judge request the regular copy from the defendant? And trust and believe me that the government prosecutor has the copy. The government got the copy, basically. But what they're trying to do, they're trying to be fair to see if Comey already produced the original copy to the court, and then for them to go ahead and compare what they have. Because if they just use the photocopy to prosecute Comey, people will say, oh, the case is not fair. So I don't understand when people call and say, oh, why would the judge request copy from the defendant? To me, I think it's fair. You can subpoena copies, right? So my question to you is that fair or is that not fair? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, AB. Let me just start. Somebody on?
No, nobody on. We're not taking any more call. We are exhausted our call. So back to you.
Yeah, let me just answer our last caller question whether it's fair or not. We're not talking about fairness here. When it comes to legal litigation, it's all about the law. It is about the law. It is lawful. That's the right answer. No camera is supposed to be in our court. And you know why? Before you can become a judge, I'm not talking about administrative judges. Some of them don't have a law degree, okay? But before you can become a judge of code of record, based on our system, including the American system, you must be a lawyer. And not just a lawyer, you must have practiced law for a specific time period before you get a judgeship. So in most instances, the judges are more abreast with the law more than the lawyers. Dealing with defense and dealing with the defense and also dealing with prosecution. Okay? But Liberian people don't want to look at the side. There are two areas here that interplay over each other. The political factor and the legal framework. Okay? The case is a political case using legal institution to prosecute it, which is the court. Now, when the court make decision, it is not the judge that have requested Cummings to bring this document. It is the prosecution, the state, the plaintiff in this case. Whether they got the original copy or they don't have it, but let me tell you something. Somebody says something, and I agree with them. Probable cause, and let me tell you something. Probable cause could even be nothing there. It's possible under our jurisdiction or under our judicial system. Probable cause could also mean that there's something there. Like anywhere you see smoke, there's a possible fire. The state could actually be in possession of the document, but the state is trying to approach the case from the softening side of it to get to know the defense. how they're going to approach this case. And again, let me tell you something. Kumi's lawyer, people on Spoon Talk say Kumi's guy, one of the famous guy, the shining star, and all these things here. It's all about money making. Councilor Sailor is not going to tell Kumi, say they not on your side. That one, just let it go. Lawyers say on the drinking table and discuss their clients. If you are not seeing it, I have seen it. Okay? So, Councilor Sailor, I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing his name good, because that's an African name, okay? They have been holding fast to the small constitutional provision that say the defendant cannot incriminate themselves, cannot produce anything to incriminate themselves. I think that argument was defeated yesterday by law. So the judge had granted the prosecution request for Kumi's defense to produce the document. So that one, no Google business in that one, no plenty talking inside again, because the judge is dealing with the law. The camera issue, the judge there with the law. And every time there is a motion with a specific request, that's an additional time, my people, you need to hold it straight.
Yeah, we have.
You need to get it straight.
We have Samuel here on the line. I just beg you.
Yeah, let me just conclude this quickly. And now, our feelings, our emotion, our everything, we just need to put it one side. We're just sharing our opinions. The court will take care of this case. Whether Kumi will produce that document, will not produce that document will be produced. But the way our system is set up, you got to go to number one before you go to number two. He cannot even jump over the magisterial court and go to the Supreme Court. It doesn't work like that. You got to go to another higher court before getting to the Supreme Court. And he cannot jump over Liberia and go to ECOWAS court only because you say our system not correct, our system is corrupt. No, it's not going to work like that. You got to exhaust that first step before you go to the next step. Let me give Samuel a chance to talk.
Samuel.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. You have 2 minutes.
Okay, I'll make it quick, my brother. You know, the problem is that Kumi fine say half. You know, the people got a power say when one of the elderly person do something in the village and the chief one had some things and give you some respect, he will judge the case in his house. But when you argue too much, you're taking on the palabra, what happened? No, nobody respect you anymore. Nobody respect Kumis anymore. They ask Kumis to do 2 simple things. Take responsibility. Let's talk the thing behind the door. Kumis said no. Baby, we said the thing a long time. You know, when someone dies, one group will say let's bury tomorrow. Another group will say let's bury the after. Another group will say let's bury next year. The matter is that person will be buried. You leave Kumi. Kumi will die. Me say Kumi will be buried. What if Kumi delay to go to the political grave? He not delay, he will go. The ANC folks should have buried the case a long time. They refuse. Then they say they want to have wakekeeping, they want to have funeral, they want to have memorial service. The court is helping them. Then why are they complaining? I hear the other guy, Mr. Kumi, cannot produce document against himself. Why he can't produce document? A police asking for the document. If only Mr. Kumi has 5 senses, you know, sometimes people are not smart. When they tell you, say, can your teeth use your tongue not in your mouth, your hand too far, before you leave your hand to reach your tongue, you take time. Mr. Cummings will use his tongue to count his teeth easily by producing that document with fear of the police, including himself, and quietly apologize in there. But you know, Mr. Cummings will regret the decision. I told you, Mr. Cummings is not in this thing for the presidency. Mr. Cummings went in this thing to destroy other people. And the people that are using him like Maningo drum, he's going to be the victim. He is going to be the victim. You see, now he's using Musa Bility to file lawsuit against Darius Belong. Everybody knows Musa Bility is a criminal. There's record out there from FIFA. They're not secret. So I thought Johnson and that taking that place to helping Musa. They just trying to.
I thought Johnson just want to eat money. I thought Johnson just want to eat.
But you're saying that Johnson want to career.
You know when you get a biggest animal in the time, you have to share it. Yeah, Logan carry as a hunter. You have to share the meat. But they play Kumi now rich, and the people that behind Kumi that the bigger animal than not carrying the town. So everybody have to go and get their own share from there. These people will learn the hard way. This thing was very easy, but the ANC folks, they thought they could use the Liberian people the way CDC used them, abuse them, harass them, intimidate them, and then they would get them power. They don't know that the Liberian people have learned from CDC.
Thank you.
Mr. Cummings made too many mistakes. When JB made a statement in America, Mr. Cummings should have cashed a check on that statement and go and tell Mr. Boaka, yeah, you say you bring peace, we hear, Papa. How can we handle the case? But rather, he wanted to take it the other way around. So let's leave the case, let the court go ahead. They were celebrating the other time the court said no camera. Why can't they celebrate the court said Mr. Cummings should bring the document? What's the difference? Isn't that the same court? So when the court ruin their favor, then the court good. When the court ruin the other favor, it's bad. We eat out, my brother. When you eat water, you can't be afraid to get wet. We eat out, AB. Time will come.
Thank you. Yeah, as we were saying,
Yeah, so what I want to say in my closing statement, we all can say whatever we want to say. But based on our system, the court will decide this case. This case. If Mr. Cummings' lawyers chose jury trial, the court will listen to them. If Mr. Cummings' lawyers chose or defense team chose trial by bench, which is the judge, at the end of the day, we'll get there. But we need to be honest to ourselves. Even though we are giving opinions, we are providing analysis, we need to be real. We need to be real to ourselves. We need to be honest to our country and to our people. You and I, God bless us, many of us who are in America or other part of the world, we don't have to go in the dictionary to define what is called breakfast or dinner or lunch. Those of us that live in North Dakota, we call it supper. But the people living in Liberia, they have to, majority of them, up to 85 to 90%, we have to go into the dictionary if they have one to define what they call breakfast, supper, or dinner. The political elite, even what they are doing in Morovia, the people in Soniwa don't even know about it. The people that live in Westport, they don't even know what they are doing. Before we talk about my hometown in Lofa County, Popala, before we talk about Bomi County, that closer to the city, before we talk about Nimba County, Grand Cape County, River Se, River G, Grand Cru, and you name it. Mr. Kumi lived in this country according to public records for over 35 years. Mr. Kumi did not go to Liberia one day to establish a foundation while working for Coca-Cola. Mr. Cummings get retired. He goes to Liberia. All he wants is, he wants to be president. He established one foundation as a covered up to do political work, which is also illegal under our system. But because we do not have a loyal, vibrant, and sustainable social, not social, but civil society organization, we do not have a sustainable, commendable, and institutional political system that will educate our people, that will check the government in power in real time. This is the reasons why one-eyed man has become a king. Mr. Kumi has money. He is using his money, paying people to mislead him. And that is the fundamental reasons why he went to all of those meetings along with his colleagues and agreed with them and even apologized, and left from there. He consulted his kangaroo lawyers because he paid them. He paid his chairman, grab people from other political parties, other precious group, and put them over there and pay them money to do good work in his brain running through. But they're not doing good work. They are misleading him on a daily basis. You remember Mr. Kumi said he went to a meeting and initially agreed with his colleague. He came back, he had a press conference and said he disagreed. Why you agree and you disagree now? Because he said his lawyers advised him to disagree. And change is change. Whether it was malicious, whether it was intentional, whether it was nefarious, whatever adjective you want to add to it, when you change font size from 11 to 12, that is a change.
Yeah, actually.
When you change Roman number to regular number, that is a change.
Oh, okay.
My people, all in all is all these people don't have Liberia's interest. They are running low on their wealth. The money they got, they're running low on it. If they got little bit, they want to use government of Liberia to put down another retirement money for their children and grandchildren that Joshua is doing and Ellen did it. They manipulate our people, they manipulate this time. We will not stop talking, my people. Thank God for Facebook and social media technology, my people. We will continue to talk. If we say nothing changing, that's not true. Something changing. Something is changing. We had a one-party system for 135 years. Okay? Before the native people could remove the First Republic by gun, by force. That's something changed right there. We elected the first female president in Africa. That's a change. We elected the first female vice president so far in West Africa. Now we Liberian people, we just elected the first Africa best, Europe best, world best. Okay? As president. Footballing president. This is a man that could not get qualified to head our Liberal Football Association. But we elected him president to head our country. Whether we like it or not, this is what we got. What we put in and what we got. They Alexander Kumi business, they Musa Bility business, whether we like it, we don't like it, they're not our feelings, they're not our emotion, it is law. Thank God somebody talk about probable cause. Right here in America. Police can arrest you based on probable cause. The only institution that can change that phrase is the court.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You go to court, police process you in 48 hours depending on the crime. You go to court, the court look into it, prosecution goes in there with all their bureaucracy, with all their weapons. Sometimes the case is dismissed in court. Sometimes you actually committed a crime. So whether the probable cause is solid, the probable cause is not solid, only the code based on our system can give us that determination. Without much ado, I want to tell you, thank you plenty. Liberia will be better, but it's not going to get better on silver platter. It is not. We have to engage our political policy leaders. We have to train and create awareness for people that need to receive it. For people that are required to make decisions in terms of voting. And some of our people say, you all lead the men, you all lead the people, that we elected them. No, that's not all to it. Mm-hmm. Democracy is not just about regular elections.
Yeah.
But what happens between different elections? For those of us that read the master science, we can elect you for a given period of time, 5 years, 6 years. If he misbehave,
we'll move you.
Under Article 1 of the Liberian Constitution, it is indicated there.
All power inherent in the people.
All power is inherent in the people. We're not telling you we're going to remove our government. That's not what we wish for. We are not telling you we're asking the military to remove the government by force like what we saw in Guinea. But if the need be, if the government that we surrender our political rights to protect all and to guarantee our safety and our protection. And that government become an animal government or cannibal, killing auditors. They can't even protect us any longer. They cannot guarantee our peace. They are dividing our young people by cash inducement. They are messing with our political and legal institution, creating a kangaroo court to keep them in perpetual power. Then we can use the Jinjan-Rousseau theory. And that theory is mass protests and forceful removal from power. The question is, have we reached there? I will say no. We haven't reached to that yet with George Weah. But we have to continue to give her the caveat in this manner. To let George Weah and future government to know we are right here, and I don't care how many tear gas you send out there, we're still going to be here. Liberia must get better so that all of us, regardless of our political indifference, regardless of where we come from as a people, tribes, religion, we all have an entitlement to that country. Okay? We all have an entitlement to that country. The same rights that you got to exercise under my life view, I got similar right to do so too. Don't insult me, I'm not going to insult you. But we say the hard truth. You either take it or you let it go. You get it right to come on our live views and say what you want to say. You even get it right to close your smartphone. You don't have to listen to us. However, we appreciate people that listen to us. Because why? We too matter. And we too have a take. That country will build hydro. It can give us more power. We can do transmission and distribution. We take West Africa power pool electricity. We can't pay the bills. We are still running the government. We'll get president that take taxpayer money, buy motor vehicles and motorcycles, and write it, and write his name on it that it's from him. It's not from the government of Liberia. Opposition that will depend on to change the trajectory, they are suing each other. We have reached to a point of animal kingdom or animal farm. The center cannot hold. We are not going to sit down as a spectator. Because Judge Weah said we're not going to be spectator. Either by crook or by hope. We will not be spectator in our own country. We will use this technology. We will say what we got to say every single day. We have the opportunity to be here. Without much ado, I want to say thank you very much for watching us. And thank you for listening to us, taking your precious time to come here whenever we are here. It'll be back to you.
You just pick the cat out of the bag. Instead of our government be thinking how to improve the livelihood of our young comrades and compeers, they are dining and warning around corruption. Instead of the opposition coming on harder on the ruling establishment, they are just suing each other to court. And in that, I have decided for me to left with no alternative but to ask the matter to take over. To ask the matter to take over, because when these men remain over our country will go dry. That's the Zogos. The Zogos are writing. The Zogos are writing, sending a caveat. That is to tell you that this government need to be careful. That is to tell you that they are not living to the way that we expected things to be. So for me, I'm not left. I am left with no alternative but just for the matter to take complete control. For the matter to take complete control of the government, of everything. Let it dissolve the entire legislature. Let it dissolve everything. Let's start from squad one. It happened in Burkina Faso. It happened in Mali. It happened in Guinea. Because the people, they are conscious. They are conscious men and women in Burkina Faso, in Blaise Compaoré country. The people, they are conscious minded in Mali. Our own door neighbor, Sarah Leone, they have to choose the ex-general, someone who ruled them for future and turned the power over to a civilian rule. Came back to take over. It happened to Nigeria. So it's about time that we, the people, need to stand up to say the truth and nothing else but the truth. With much ado, I want to tell all of our viewers, thank you for tuning in to the Magnificent Abraka Talk Show, and thank you so much for our subscribers both on Facebook and on YouTube and on Twitter, because that is the platform that we have. We have 3 platforms: Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So please, if you are not subscriber of our YouTube channel, please go there now and go and hit Mzee Abraham, and you will be live there whenever we come on live. You'll receive a notification. With much ado, bye-bye.